IllegalTrap.com.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Oh gosh.
No more.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh.
No more. I can't listen to you. When I listen to you, it's a liability. Cause you be mentally killing my inner energy. So I'm concealing my feelings before you injure me. I can't listen to you. When I listen to you, I feel like a mini-me. Cause when I kick you my dreams, you call them Little League. Why you belittle me? Why you gotta go in on me? I can't listen to you. When I listen, I be doubting my ability. But you be tripping, you be flipping like a trampoline. So I be dipping, I be out of your vicinity. I can't listen to you. I had to look around the corner for some inner peace, but that's better than a shoulder full of enemies. I need to carry this moment into my memories. I can't listen to you. No more. I can't listen to you. No more. I can't listen to you. I took a step out the boat and walked the water. You said you wanna have a talk, well maybe tomorrow. I found gold when I left you at the harbor. I can't listen to. See, I can't afford to walk in your shoes. You got me out of tune, so I ignore you. I need an auto-tune just to record you. I can't listen to you. I seen the grass got greener on the other side. I seen the snakes got meaner when the sun arrived. I made you hit the John Cena with your covered eyes. I can't listen to you. I'll admit it, I'm my harshest critic. I get lost in my thoughts and get off my mission. Who would've thought my biggest obstacle was my potential? I can't listen to you. No more. No more. I can't listen to you. No more. No
What's good? It's your girl Wolf on the mic. You are now checking in with Big Al on the Illegal Trap.
Yo, y'all know who it is. It's Big Al. I'm back. I'm in sunny Rialto, California, and I got a very dope guest. This dude's about to drop mad gems, and I feel like this episode about to be really sourceful to people. Like, this shit about to be crazy. I got the man Curtis King in the building. How you doing today, man?
I'm good. How you doing?
Hanging in there, bro. I feel like I never left Arizona though, but you know I'm cooling.
you getting a taste of this Rialto heat.
Yeah, so I feel like it's about to be like, I don't know. I read the phone and it said it's about to be 73, so I might enjoy the night, but
it's tricky.
Yeah,
it could be or it couldn't.
Yeah,
be.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if it's about to be a trick or is it about to be, you know, Arizona, but it's all good. But I'm gonna enjoy California while I'm here.
Absolutely. Glad to have you out here.
Appreciate it, man. So let's talk about how you grew up, man. Where you from?
Originally, I'm from Carson, California. I was born in Bellflower, but I grew up in Carson, California.
Okay, word. How was that growing up out there?
Carson is weird. It's good. It's good, but it's weird because it's dead smack in the middle of Long Beach, like two of the most notorious cities that you ever heard if you ever listen to hip hop.
Yeah.
Like Long Beach and Compton. It's right dead smack in the middle. What's crazy about Carson is that it's one of those areas where if you're passing through it, it looks like a suburb. It looks hella affluent. You know, you're looking at, you know, our folks out there, you know, with Mercedes Benz out in the parking lot, and you seeing all of these green lawns, not knowing that, you know, some of these streets have a high murder capita. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of transplants from Compton. Like somebody get a little money, somebody mama get a little money, and move everybody that live in her house over to Carson to get away from that lifestyle. Only that, you know, some folks just kind of bring it over there. So it was always kind of a mixed thing where growing up, it wasn't as bad as it is now. And I've been out there recently, but it's crazy now. But when I was living out there, you know, the first experience I had with like the other side of Carson was when I was going to Curtis Middle School. It was an actual middle school called Curtis.
Okay.
Where I got my name from. And I decided I wanted to wear red and white Jordans because my mom's.
Damn. Yeah, I know how this is about to go.
My mom's husband at the time had bought me some sneakers for Christmas, and I'm like, I'm not really knowing about the gang culture. Like I know about it, but I'm not like thinking that they would mess with me. Like, it got anything to do with me because I'm looking like some kind of square or whatever. Like, wasn't trying to be the tough guy or nothing like that. But I remember being outside one time, and the neighborhood in Carson was like, it was a section of the Crips called the 190s. And they were based out there. And I remember like going to school that day, and the homie was like, man, Jordans is crazy, but bro, you might get shot with those. And I'm like,
yeah, there was red, you said, right?
Oh my God, my heart was going crazy. I was like, yo, I might die today because of these shoes. But yeah, man, so the end of that day, I remember standing out there waiting for my pops to pick me up. And I remember one of the older Crips over there was looking at me and just kept staring at me and looked at my shoes and kept looking at me. And I was like, dog, I'm about to get shot right here in front of my middle school. Like, and that's a real reality. I mean, I don't mean to make fun of, make light of it, but that's a real reality for some folks, and especially growing up, we talking about 90s.
Yeah.
Late 90s. But man, I mean, that's my first introduction, but it's a long-winded answer for your question, but Carson is just a mixture of both sides, and you get a taste of the affluence, you get a taste of the more wild. Yeah.
That's crazy. That's kind of how I feel like Phoenix is, because like you go to one side of town and it's pretty like, mellow. Everybody out there is just doing their thing, and then next minute you could be like
middle of a shootout.
Yeah, and then it's just like, damn, because people they just think Arizona is just like calm retirement city, but it has its sections of like.
Look, every city got its sections. Every city got that one street nobody go down. Every I don't care, any area where, especially with this money at, like,
oh yeah,
there can be an increase in police presence, but a lot of folks just don't care. A lot of folks just want to go cause mess, and I don't care where you're at. There's always the quote unquote like hood part of that. Beverly Hills got a hood. You know what I mean? Like anywhere you think that's super affluent has its part of the city where things go down, So
how'd you get induced to the music stuff, man? So how did this all come about?
Growing up I was always around music. My mom's, she played piano for like over to this day still like 30 plus years.
Okay.
And I grew up, sitting in the church, tapping my hands on my kneecaps as she's playing the piano, and I'm watching the drummer in the corner, and I just remember just being there, and even when I was bored, I remember that used to be my thing. I'd be in church, and she'd be having choir rehearsal, and I'd be bored in there, and I'd be like, just any typical kid, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, what can I distract my mind with? Okay, well, I'm gonna try to follow the snares that the drummer's doing, right?
Okay,
So I would just tap on my kneecap, and then just follow the snares, and then I would count and just count. And so I think that was really my first sort of
encounter with the
real
music.
encounter with it. Even like being in the house, I used to get in trouble for, banging on the walls with my fists, and trying to,
make a beat. Make a beat.
And it's funny because I feel like I still follow that rhythm to this day. That's my most natural rhythm, is me beating on the wall and boom, 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 boom. Like that's literally what got me started. But in terms of actually doing the music, it wasn't until years later. Like I always wrote poetry. I always did really well in my English classes.
Okay.
I hated math.
Yeah,
Math, I was
everybody hates
atrocious.
math. I love it though. I love it.
I mean, you know what? As you get older and you have to start relying on it for your money,
Yeah.
you'll be a mathematician too. You know, especially when you're dealing with jobs that, like, I've dealt with jobs that pay me in personal checks, and I had to go do my math.
Yeah.
And it was like, I don't really want to do this, but I got to do it. But not until years later did I actually started the music on a bet. It was a bet with the homie. Like the homie was like, "You ever thought about rapping?" I'm like, "What you mean rapping? Like I ain't no rapper. You know, I write poetry or whatever." He's like, "Man," he was like, we got on the phone after school one day, and he was like, "Man, take 30 minutes, get off the phone. I'm gonna get off the phone. Call me back in 30. Let's come up with a verse." Worst verse I ever wrote in my life, right? But I thought I was getting off.
Gotta start somewhere.
Gotta start somewhere, and I thought I was getting off because I was like spitting a little fast rap or whatever in the midst of that, and get back on the phone 30 minutes later, and he's like, "Let me hear what you got." And I'm trying to rap, and I'm like, I'd never rapped before. And he's like, "Okay, that actually sound pretty good." And he raps his raps, and I'm like, "He sound really good." And he's like an older brother to me now. It's my boy Keaton, but that's literally what started it. And as we started doing that a little bit more, like I went to his grandma's house, our grandma apartment, and we would just kind of like play around over these beats we found on the internet. We had a real life discussion. We were like, "Yo, if we're gonna do this, what are we doing it for? Like, we can't just do this just to like we." It's funny because even as kids, we were very serious kids.
Yeah,
like, we were like them kids that was thinking about, 30 years old, what kind of life we want to live, and like really being realistic about that. Not saying I want a car that flies in the air. Like,
how you gonna get there?
Like really, like how are we gonna take care of our families? And that became the basis of our music. Is that we're going to use this gift that we believe we had in music to take care of our moms and our grandmas and our families so they wouldn't have to worry about working another day. So that literally was the foundation of it. But I had always been around music, man. I'd always been around, my pops would play stuff. They were divorced, but they would always have these great selections of music. My pops would play everything from, Cameo to Earth, Wind, and Fire. Classics, right? To my mom's would play the other stuff like Lionel Richie and Wham and, just all these different Marvin Gaye, like all of these different experiences I had with not just black artists and not just our folks, but like every kind of genre of music.
Artists, yeah.
And you put that all into one person. At first, as one confused little boy.
Yeah.
But then the more I started to learn how to produce and learn how to write my music, it all started to come out into my music. So that was really my really initial introduction to this music.
Word. So did you start making beats before you made like actual like rhymes and stuff like that, or how did it start?
I made beats because the homie decided I was gonna be we was in a 2-man rap group, and the homie was like, "You gonna be the producer?" I was like, "What you mean I'm gonna be the producer?"
Yeah.
I ain't never laid no hands to keys or nothing like that. I don't even got the room. Like we were both living in apartments. I ain't got no room to make no studio.
Yeah.
That's what I thought at that time, but. We were just tired. Me and him both had a conversation where we were like, man, there's only so many beats we can get off of Napster. It was Napster at the time.
Okay,
showing
damn.
my age. Napster, it was mp3.com, all these different websites. We were getting these quote unquote radio beats, like beats that you found from songs that were on the radio.
And looped and stuff like that.
And it was like the DJ version, DJ instrumental or whatever, right? And so we were rapping over 50 Cent, instrumentals, Wu-Tang, old school instrumentals, and anything we can get our hands on. But it was like, dude, we can only go so far with this. We need original music. And I remember we were going to, we made a decision, like basically we need to make our own beats. We didn't know how we were gonna do it. We were gonna figure it out. I remember we went to the mall one day. There's a mall right next door to the school I went to called Downey High. And there's a Stonewood Mall. We went into the Stonewood Mall and they had there's something that now is a GameStop. It used to be called the Electronic Boutique.
Okay.
Went inside Electronic Boutique. I kid you not, it was 2 games sitting right next to each other. We were going in there for NBA Live.
Okay.
Right? Going in there for NBA Live. Next to it was this game called MTV Music Generator.
I see that right there, right next to you. I was like wondering why. I remember that growing up because I was like, I remember that game, but I never knew what it was.
MTV Music Generator was a 2-disc PlayStation 1 game that basically was like Fruity Loops before Fruity Loops was even thought of.
Okay.
Right? But it was only on PlayStation. So I looked at it and we both looked at it like, yo, what is this?
Yeah.
Because we were going in there looking like we normal little kids. We just want to play the game. And I looked at that, and we both had money that we were going to put in for one game. We only could afford one game, and they were both the same price. Mm-hmm. And it was like, bro, like making like real life decisions, right? And we say, okay, we're gonna think on it. I was like having cold sweats the night before. I was like, oh man, what am I do, man? I can't be the producer. What's going on? I don't know. And then the next day we go in and definitively I make the decision to get that one. We both got the game and we're driving. We get on the bus to go home and he's like, all right, you take it home. I'm like, what you mean? I'll take it home.
He's like, tutorials
no,
now.
you take it home. I'll take it. You know, I mess with it a few days after this, but I took it home and I taught myself how to make beats literally on a PlayStation first and just using like the stock sounds or whatnot and trying to just figure my way through it. Like, yo, how can I make this beat sound like my favorite, you know, so-and-so beats, you know, things that I'm listening to, or what do they have in every beat? Kick, snare, hi-hats. Okay, I kind of know that stuff a little bit. You know, piano. Okay, cool. I can make a beat. And the first ones were terrible because the one thing I left out was a bass.
Yeah.
And you couldn't really hear bass because I was making beats on a PlayStation on a television, mind you. And you listen to them old school television, ain't no bass, ain't no bass, ain't no beat in there, right? So imagine like peaking your Zenith TV. You know, that's really showing some age. Zenith TV to 30, you maxing this thing out, and as high as it goes is to 30. Now the TVs go to like 100. This one's maxing out to 30, and it's only like 2 speakers sitting on the bottom of there, and all you can do is just max out the volume until it sounds halfway decent. You don't know what the thump is going to be on it, but, you know, I think because of that, you know, I remember I used to play the beats for the homie that made me the producer, and he was like, it's cool, like, I mean, we can rap on it, but it just sound different. Mm-hmm. But he gave me encouragement. He kept pushing me. He was like, you know what, man, you getting better though, and keep going. And before I know it, man, like, you know, I started getting pretty good on that game. You know, the first times I had to record the beats, I didn't have like, you know, the computer set up like I wanted, so I had to literally use a microphone headset.
Okay.
Like a Radio Shack
like
microphone.
the ones
Man.
like you plug in your ear and then the mic a little
Like-
bit down. Like the iPhone ones is kind of like
No, not pre my iPhone. I'm talking about talking about, hi, this is the operator. How
Yeah,
can I
yeah,
connect
yeah.
your call? That old
the
school
old
kind of
vintage
man,
looking ones.
Super vintage from Radio Shack. It was the cheapest thing there. It was cheaper than an omnidirectional microphone. Picked it up and I was literally like I had to wait till it was completely quiet in the house. I couldn't make a sound. I couldn't move. And I put that microphone up to the TV and I just waited for that whole beat to be finished. And do you understand how difficult that is? Like when, you
On
know,
a
first of
30
all, you in
maxed out on
apartments,
30.
TV maxed out. You can't really bang it like that because my pops was like hella strict about, you know, my education, just strict about having a quiet environment, you know, because he worked or whatnot. And so he was on my head. So I had to wait till nobody was home. I had 3 minutes where I could just let it fly out and not make one sound. And I couldn't move the mic. If I moved the mic, that means when we're rapping on the beat, one part of the beat gonna be lower.
The DJ drop.
Man, yeah, a little DJ drop. Like, man, did you record us off the radio? Like, that's not too far from the truth. But that's literally what shaped us. That's what got us, you know, that's what got me to where I'm at now. That's why I put that PlayStation game on top of my speakers
that's
because
dope.
I got to be reminded, like, you know, no matter what I achieve or don't achieve, it doesn't matter. I'm fulfilled because I look at that and I say, you know, look where I came from.
Mm-hmm.
I made that make sense. Like literally a PlayStation game changed the next 12 years of my life.
That's dope. That's real dope.
You know, so
that proves to you that, like, you know, if you start somewhere, you know, it could take you a long way.
Oh,
and if you really love something, then you're gonna take it to the next level.
you're not gonna care. It's gonna hurt when people that you love, you know, look at you and say you ain't gonna make nothing out of that. It's gonna hurt, and you may even believe some of that, but you just got to do it anyways. Like I say, sometimes you got to go into robot mode in life, and that applies to more than just music. Sometimes you got to go into robot mode and just do it.
Mm-hmm.
If you know the why you're doing it, and you know that at the end of that road, things are gonna be okay. You got to go into robot mode. And what I mean by that is basically get out your own head.
Yeah.
You got to leave your own head, leave your own thoughts, leave your own doubts, leave your own, you know, inhibitions and all of that. Just say robot mode. And what does a robot do? They just get the job
Tunnel
done.
vision. You just in there.
Robot, like, look, think about a car wash. A car wash is a robot. They don't care if your antenna's up. They don't care if your
Windows down.
They don't care about none of that. Guess what? Robot mode. We still got to get this thing clean. If I happen to clean the inside of your car too, spinning these little, you know, the little things like, look,
And you,
that's
not
just what's
just the
gotta
car,
happen.
you
So
in the car.
You got to literally be like robot mode sometimes with your dreams. And I did that a lot of times where I just had to like go into autopilot and say, I know, like. People try to avoid going on the autopilot because they say, "Oh, you're not passionate anymore. You're forgetting the why." No, establish the why early. You can go on autopilot whenever you want.
Yeah.
There's times I'll be sitting here making beats and I'm focused. I'm in on this, but I'm like low key thinking about like, what am I gonna eat tonight? And because I thought about that for 2 seconds, it makes me have the idea to switch the snare out
Yeah.
and make it a different type of snare or change the swing of the beat. It's just you have to let your mind wander sometimes, just to refresh, just to keep you just to keep you into it. You know what I mean? So that's one thing too, is that I had to be able to look at those opportunities where I'm starting with what I got. All I got is a PlayStation.
Yeah.
All I got is this TV. But I'm not about to sit up here and say 20 years from now, man, why didn't you ever pursue music? Oh, because all I had was a PlayStation TV. Nope. To me, the story that I'm telling you right now,
Yeah.
that's why it's fulfilling. The story that I'm telling you right now is so much better than what could have happened had I kept pursuing.
What if? I always look at it like that. I don't want to be living life like what if,
Oh man, you'll
Can't never do that. Like you
You'll
just
be
gotta take this.
35 and bitter, man. You'll be
Yeah.
like a lot of these rappers that are out here, bro. Like I'm 31 right now, and I look at so many of my peers that was popping 10 years ago,
Yeah.
5 years ago, and they're bitter. Can we cuss on here?
Yeah.
Bitter as shit. Like they're just, oh, bro, they're so bitter because they look at life and they like, they have these great expectations and they achieve a lot of things, but none of that shit fulfills them. None of that shit is actually like, it doesn't sit in with them because they're not grateful for nothing they have. I learned that from Tony Robbins. They're not grateful. They're not grateful for the things they have, and therefore they always are trying to like one up the next person. Or they're trying to compete. And I knew if I had a PlayStation today, in the same way that I got a PlayStation, I could one day get, a laptop. I had a computer already, so I was recording on that. Okay, well, if I can afford a headset mic, one day I'm going to work a job or something, and I'm going to be able to get an omnidirectional microphone.
Yep.
And the beautiful thing about life, and I don't mean to go off into this soliloquy or whatever, but the beautiful thing about life is that when you start to put things in motion, I had a homie that gave me an example. Basically, when you put things into motion, other opportunities are going to open up for you that you wouldn't even expect because you're always moving. The homie said that Chris Rock said one time that, if you're driving in a car and the car breaks down and you get outside the car and you start to push it, more than likely people are going to come help you push that car. But if your car breaks down and you sit on the side of the road and you're trying to call AAA, nobody knows nothing that's going on with you.
Gonna be sitting there.
They may not even
They
trust
thinking you waiting for AAA.
right? But if you go out there and start pushing, and the car, could be symbolic for your career, your passion, your music, whatever you're pushing. If you get out there and start pushing it, you'll start to basically get the attention of people who are here on this earth to help.
Yeah.
And I mean that's what happened to me. Like even like my mom bought my first studio equipment.
Okay.
My Omega, I forgot what Omega Lexicon interface and my first omnidirectional microphone. And I kid you not, we was living in Carson, and Carson at that time for like during Christmas was like abnormally cold to the point where I'm on the patio making music, and it wasn't a really like well-designed patio. It's one of them patios where it's inside, but you still feel like you outside, right? So anything that's on the outside, you getting 10 times worse. If it's 100 degrees outside, it's 110 in the patio.
Yeah.
Or if it's 60 degrees outside, it's 50 inside. Where it was so cold the day after Christmas when she gave me that equipment, I remember being out there and blowing in the air and seeing my own breath in the patio. And I was like, yo, this is crazy. But I'm not going to not make music.
Yeah,
and I sat
stop
up
what
there,
you're doing for that.
Bro, I sat up there, got my equipment, put it together, read a little bit of the manual, and I was like, I'm going to make music today. And first thing I did was sample a beat from Donnie Darko, that Tears for Fears, Mad World.
Damn, the movie, right?
World, yeah, like that. I sampled that first, and I just sat there and started chopping the beat together, and it didn't matter. Like she even bought me like a little drum kit CD and all of that, and I just, because I was in motion, because she saw me going so hard in the paint on that PlayStation.
Yeah.
Guess what? Now she already has it in mind. I'm going to get this for him for Christmas. And sometimes it doesn't always work out like that. Sometimes you do have to be the one that puts it into motion. But guess what? When you put out in the universe, especially on the social media age, you can put out into the universe, yo, I'm making beats. I'm trying my best.
Yeah.
I'm working on this PlayStation. All of a sudden, somebody you least expect says, man, well, if you buy this little part for your computer, you can actually record straight from your PlayStation into your
computer. And
you end up having all of this abundance of advice. And I think that only comes when you get your mindset ready to move.
Get focused.
Yeah, just move. You just got to move sometimes, and sometimes you don't know exactly where you're going. But if you're moving, if you're pushing that car, somebody gonna get out that car and help you.
Yeah.
But don't wait looking for them. Push that car. The only way it works, here's a trick. The only way it works is if you push that car solely believing you're going to be the only one that has to push that
Yeah.
card, because nobody's going to do it if you looking like you want, you know, you kind of
Like you want some help.
Please come.
Yeah.
You see me over here. Like if you looking like that, nobody's going to help. You know, or the wrong people are going to help because they see you're in a vulnerable situation. They're going to take advantage. But if you push that thing with the confidence that, yo, I'm going to push this to the gas station. I don't care if it's 15 miles away. I'm pushing this car.
Yeah.
People will align with that, and it's just how the world works, man. It's you know, no matter what your religious belief is, it's just how the world works. You know, you get to push, and people will push along with you.
So what I'm asking you on top of that right there, from what I'm observing, what you're saying. So do you believe in the law of attraction and stuff like that, or
Absolutely.
is it okay?
The Secret, all that. I believe that. I believe that, you know, your life is a combination of the things that you think about all the time.
Like if I have a feeling, I could spark that, and it could be something bigger, and I could actually pursue it, and it may happen.
works
Or
in
it
a
possibly,
positive-
like
yeah.
it possibly could happen.
Well, not even possible. I think it will happen. I
Okay.
think that in some shape or form, it may happen in a way that you would least expect it. But if all you think about is money, then you'll either have money problems or you'll have an abundance of money.
Okay,
Right,
yeah.
right. So there's ways to think about it that where they're productive ways to think about money. You know, if you're constantly thinking about, you know, not spending all of your money. You're constantly thinking about saving, you know, paying yourself first whenever you get a transaction, you get a check, you're paying yourself first. If that's constantly in your mind,
Yeah.
you're going to have a constant mindset of abundance, a constant mindset of saving and building. If you have a mindset of, man, no matter what, it's always something else that pops up. The universe goes to work on that because it's like the universe only knows what you give to her.
Yeah.
If you continue to give to her, like, yo, you know, I don't know, like all I know is just setbacks, then everything's gonna become a setback.
Yeah,
You're
that's
gonna wake
what
up in the morning and stomp your toe on the bed, and that's not gonna be you being clumsy. To you, it's gonna be like, oh God, another setback. Now I can't walk the way that I usually walk because now my toe's hurting and my chest is hurting because yada yada yada. And it's like you're not solution oriented, and that's why, you know, the what they call the compound effect. The little things that you do every day, the little thoughts that you have, the little things that you speak, all go to an end result, good or bad.
Yeah.
You know, you literally build your destiny. You build your outcome with the small thoughts and the small things that you do every single day.
Let me ask you this: Are you a fan of like 40 Laws of Power and stuff like that, 50 Laws, or
A fan is probably a bit of a stretch, but I'm a fan of what's his name? Is it Robert Greene?
Yeah, Robert Greene.
Robert Greene. I'm a fan of Robert Greene in that he was honest enough to say that he made that book out of anger.
Okay.
Because Hollywood wouldn't allow his screenwriting, you know, to get off, and he saw the way people were getting their power, and then he made that book out of anger. There's a lot of truth in there, but then there's a lot of like. It's funny because when first time I read it, I just felt rage.
Yeah, that's how I
Right.
felt too when I was reading. I was just like,
It's like, yeah, there are some like
Evil
political
stuff,
bars in there,
yeah.
but it's a lot of stuff in there that's just like really conniving and manipulative. And it's like when people come up thinking that's the only way to make it, they use them the wrong way.
Yeah, exactly.
Or they get used by people who do it better. So my thing is, you know, I look at that book. The reason why I even read that book was to understand the things that people have done to me along the way.
that's what I've done it too. Is like it's firsthand experiences. I feel like this is what people were doing, and this is what's going on.
Right.
And then it's like a learning thing. I wouldn't use it. Maybe I may use some.
Right.
Just in case, you know, there's time and places.
I mean, you gotta
yeah.
fight. You know, you can't. You know, you gotta fight fire with water. You
Yeah.
know? And if you understand the techniques of what's being done to you, you know how to combat it. But it's almost like if you don't understand Kobe Bryant's fadeaway jump shot, how you gonna defend it?
Yeah.
You know, going in there saying I'm just gonna be a good man about my defense, and like, no, you gotta understand that man sometimes will fake like he about to, or he used to fake like he's gonna shoot a jump shot, and then he will fade away on that ass.
Yeah.
So you gotta understand the technique, and you know the you know I always say, you know, the money is not the root of all evil; it's the magnifying glass. Like money itself is not evil. You know,
Okay.
this knowledge that he shared in there is not all evil. It's just the way that it's being used and by whom it's being used and how it's being used to people is completely evil. But I mean, I think there's so many things in there that you know people can gain a lot from.
Yeah.
You know, some people do talk too much.
Yeah.
And they tell all the ideas to the wrong people, and people take advantage.
I see that
of
a
that
lot.
situation.
Like
Yeah.
especially like coming from Arizona, I see like Like if it's a good vibe with somebody and they just meet somebody for the first time, they'll tell them their whole plan and what they want. I'm like, damn, I would never do nothing like that. Like,
yeah, you got to protect yourself too. I mean, you want to be trusting of other human beings, obviously, but you have to be, I think that when you get in the mindset of giving, literally the secrets of life is giving.
Yeah.
When you get in the mindset that that's what it is, I think your mind goes to a natural filtration where it knows the type of people to keep away from you.
Yeah.
And those people are not attracted to your energy because your energy is something that's completely opposite of what they want. They want people they can take advantage of. And I think that, you got to understand the things that are being done. So you have to understand all of them. But there are some laws in there, just keeping your mouth shut and, there's a few others in there that I
there's
look
some
to.
gems in there.
There's 48 of them. So
Yeah, because the one you were talking about, like the negatives and stuff like that, like it reminded me of the 50 Law of Power because there's the 50 Cent. I'm a big fan of 50 Cent,
right.
And he was just saying like how every negative thing that he would come about, he knew something positive was going to happen.
Oh yeah,
that's how I was looking at things too. Like I came to apply that to I applied that to my life now to like. If I have like the biggest setback, I know the biggest reward is about to come this way. Like usually, 9 out of 10 times.
Let me ask you this: how have you seen that come to pass in your life? Like, what's an example of you seeing that come to pass? Because I agree with you.
Yeah. So like, let's say like this, because I had a previous clothing brand and stuff like this, but it was whatever. It was big.
Right.
It was getting up there, but like it just was going downhill. Would be like I knew it was going downhill, so I made the opportunity to make a new website, which is the Legal Trap now. So it's like it expanded all that. Yeah. And then this is like stuff in the past, like my parents passing and stuff like that. All that has just turned like my life around, and I've gained so much knowledge of like firsthand experiences and stuff like that. And it's just applied to my life. So it's just like,
see, and I tell you like this, individuals like you are literally what keep me driven. Meeting people like you, and that's why I asked that question, because hearing people's story, hearing the things that you've been able to experience and still come out of it and say, I want the most out of my life. I think that that's one of the most remarkable traits of any human being. And I mean, it really is a commitment to saying, I'm going to be happy. First of all, I'm going to be happy, because that's the most important thing in the world, is going to be happy. Because you can achieve all the stuff in the world and, end up like, unfortunately, like a Robin Williams.
Yeah.
One of my favorite comedians. Boy, I was one of my favorite actors. And he offed himself, and he made a living making people laugh and smile and be happy. And you would think that would fulfill somebody, but no. There's a lot of things that it didn't do for him. And I keep going back to Tony Robbins because, it's just really something. A lot of stuff that I've been reading as of lately and coming across interviews have really been resonating with me and changing the trajectory of my life. And I really suggest folks go look him up. If
I'm gonna most definitely check him out, because you brought him up multiple times now.
And like I said, I'm like really in the midst of getting some information that opened my mind up to a lot of things. But you got to show gratitude at all costs. You got to be gracious about the things that are happening to you. And, fulfillment is really the key to all of this. What was the question that you asked me again? I want to make sure I wind it back to that.
It was the books, or the Robert Greene. That was it. Yeah, so that was it.
Right. So talking about the Robert Greene book, I don't know, like what was the particular point that he said? It's a few things that he said. It's probably going to keep coming up in his interview, but it was one thing that he said in particular I was trying to remember, but it's all good. We can go to the next thing.
So
I had a little brain
it's
fart.
all good, man. I ain't tripping, because I'm listening, man. I'm just absorbing everything that you're saying. It's just like I'm attaining this stuff, because I'm like, because it's supposed to be an interview, but it's just like
just got it. You just reminded me. Tony Robbins said, in life, he said, with life, things don't happen to you. They happen for you.
Okay, yeah.
It's up to you to figure out where the benefit is at.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, when you start thinking of the things that happen, in your life, and when you start thinking of them as things that happen for you, like when you can sit up there and you catch a flat on whatever freeway, like what's the most popular freeway in Phoenix?
The I-10.
The I-10. You catch a flat on the I-10 in the middle of rush hour traffic. What positive can be of that? You know what? I'm thankful for this, because this probably saved me from being in a 4-car accident where I would have my car would have went off the side of the freeway.
Exactly.
Like anything, and that's just my way of thinking of it. But if you get that mindset, I think that will change your outlook on a lot of things. It'll change your outlook on life. It'll change your outlook on your business. It'll change your outlook on your website, your blog, your photography, your video editing, whatever you do in this life. When you look at things as life, I agree with them. When you look at life as stuff is not happening to you, things are not happening to you, they're happening for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything.
A learning experience. Everything can be really a learning experience.
And that's hard. I mean, even like, my condolences. You say that you got lost your parents. Like, it's hard when like stuff like that hits.
Yeah.
When stuff like that hits you, and even for me, like, losing my grandparents both, within a year, and falling into times where I've had deep poverty and depression.
Yeah.
And like, how do you look at that situation? Like, how do you have no money to your name and look up and say, who can I give to? That's a whole nother mindset that I'm like, I admire that now. As I'm 31, I admire that more so than, my favorite rappers or whatever. I admire that more than somebody's riches, is the mindset of saying, I don't have anything, but I can still give.
Yeah.
Because that takes a special type of person to do something like that. I think that you're no different. I think that's why people resonate with your podcast. I think that it's literally you making a decision every day, like, yo, life is gonna throw bullshit at me.
Yeah.
I can't stop that, but I can change my relationship when the bullshit hits the fan.
Exactly.
Am I gonna be the dude that is trying to dodge all the shit that's hitting out the fan?
Exactly.
Or am I gonna be the little kid that get behind the fan and start making RoboCop noises? You know what I'm saying? Like, you can do that. Like, that's my philosophy now with life. Like, I'm gonna be, when shit hits the fan, I'm gonna jump behind it and make RoboCop noises. I'm gonna put it on Snapchat. I don't need that. So, but no, that's literally like, you gotta treat life that way. Because, everybody can get all wound up about whatever they're wound up about. It's going to come that time where you're going to have nothing but you and yourself and alone time.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're not motivated in that time, none of this shit matters.
Exactly. I remember earlier you talking about the beats and stuff, and you talking about how the TV stuff like that.
Right.
When he was making beats to the TV, so on the PlayStation and shit. Like, I was looking at a video earlier today, and it said the Schoolboy Q one. And it was produced by you. I don't know why. That's the thing I thought of. Like, is this?
And that was when I first started on FL. Yeah. For people who don't know the story, Schoolboy Q. There's a video right now on my YouTube called Schoolboy Q. Oh, you might have to close that a little bit more because that wind coming through. Schoolboy Q talks about Curtis King's worst beat ever. Because it was literally my worst beat ever. I didn't know at the time. I thought it was pretty tight. I had like
hella gunshots or something like that.
Oh my God. Like, I had this. I had FL Studio. I was just getting used to it. The homie Ab at the time, he wasn't signed to TDE. He had just signed. He was like, yo, give me a CD full of your best beats. And I was like, he's like, he wanted 20 beats. And I don't even think I even made like 30 beats on FL yet.
Yeah.
But I was like, all right, I got you, right? And so I make a CD, and one of those beats was some beat called, Gun Clap or just something crazy. Because it's always something corny when the dudes that ain't about that life, which I ain't about that life, makes a beat like that. So it's corny, but I had nothing but 808s and gunshots and guns cocked.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can hear the boom boom.
Like, the 808s was just nothing but that and clickety clack sounds. And he came to TDE, and I guess they basically were like, find your beats.
Yeah.
Because he just had came there, and they weren't what they were today. And of course they had access to producers, but it was like, you got to get your work in. It's like, they treat it like a gym over there where every artist got to get their work in. And so one of the beats he got his work in, it's the very first beat he ever rapped over when he went to TDE to kind of showcase for them was over there.
That had me rolling. I was like, damn, because I just visualized it once you told me about the PlayStation stuff. So I was like,
oh man,
it was just like,
which lets people know, young producers understand, just because I got FL, just because I wised up and got better, does not mean that I was not capable of making the worst beat ever.
Yeah.
This is years into producing still, and this is after I had done some work with Ab Soul, but it was like, one thing that I'm not afraid to do is take chances, and I've never been afraid to do it in life. When it comes to things that I really love. Like, I was a scared little kid sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. I wasn't just a brave little kid that was always breaking arms and stuff or getting my arm broke. I was not that kid. I was not skateboarding. I wasn't one to get on roller coasters. No, I wasn't that. But when it came to things that I loved, I didn't care about looking stupid.
Did it?
You know what I mean? Even today, like, as an adult, as a rapper, like, years ago, I made a song called Ratchet Still Jocking, where I'm talking about, even though I'm feeling bummy, man, the ratchet's still jocking. Like, I ain't got no money in my pockets, but the ratchet's still jocking.
Yeah.
I'll make that kind of a song, and it's like self-deprecating humor. People relate to it because it's like, he don't take himself too serious, and he's being authentic about, his life and who he is. And I try to always keep that in whatever I do. So even with making beats, like I made a terrible gunshot beat with 808s. I took a chance. I found some sound effects in a DJ Clue, DJ Clue. I found it inside of one of his drum kits, and I went to town. I was like, I'm going, because it's funny because my whole and I have never told this before, but who I really was, quote unquote, no pun intended, gunning for that beat was J-Rock. I was hoping J-Rock was gonna get on that. But I'm so glad he didn't, because that was so terrible of a beat. But at that time, J-Rock was that dude. Like Kendrick was just like, the little homie, like his little homie. It was like his hype man. He was still a dude with bars, but he was just like J-Rock's little homie. And man, I wanted J-Rock to be on that beat so bad. That's what I made the beat for. But Schoolboy Q hit his first rap over that one, and yeah, he clowned me on radio with that, but I mean, it was all love. Like, I understand, but I'm glad that he told that story. You live and you learn, and why not learn on those levels? Mm-hmm. Why not see if this is what you're really made for? If I could get past that and not feel like, oh man, this dude who's like an established rapper, like literally smashed on my beats, like he like talked about. No, I can't look at it like that. I look at it like that's the homie. He clowns, and I've been around him clowning other people, and that's just how he does, and that beat was terrible. Like, there's no two ways about it. If I can interpret that like that, there's nothing that can stop me.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
So, did you grow up with Ab-Soul and stuff like that, or you guys
didn't grow up with him? No, I didn't grow up with him. But
music.
We were in the same neighborhood. We were literally, there's two sides of Carson, and we lived in Delamo, which is like a little smaller, like it's like a smaller section of Carson. Okay. He lived on one side of Delamo. I lived on the other side of Delamo, and so. We literally like 5 or 10 minutes away. I was introduced to him from another rapper named Grimm. He used to go by Ben Grimm at the time. He's from Carson as well. Really dope artist. I was introduced from him, and they came through my studio in I think 2005 or it might have been 2005, 2006. They came through the studio, and I had beats. I didn't know who. I knew them from like MySpace. Yeah. Right, and they were like the local dudes who were really killing it. They had this group called Top Notch. And so one of the times they came over, they brought this dude Ab-Soul over, and he came over to the studio, and I remember sitting there playing beats because he was supposed to be on a song with the homie Grimm, and it was over one of my beats. And I'm just sitting there like, okay, this your boy. Like, I heard him on MySpace. He's pretty dope. Yeah. He just sat there in a chair, and he was polite. He was nice. And he sat there in a chair when that beat came on, didn't say a word, didn't have paper or pen. I asked him, I said, you want paper and pen? He was like, nope. I was like, all right, like, for sure, like, no offense, what I'm saying, whatever, like, maybe you memorize a verse. And I texted a homie, like, in the studio. I was like, I didn't want to, interrupt him while he's writing. I said, yo, is your boy feeling the beat or not? Like, do you know if he's like, do you want to say something to him? He's like, oh, no, he's writing. I said, he's writing? He ain't got no pen and paper. And at that time, the only person I ever seen it do without pen and paper was Jay-Z.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Right? I don't even think Jay-Z, I don't think the Black Album was out at that time. I heard about Jay-Z reading like XXL articles. And so he's sitting back there, got his shades on, you can't see his eyes. He's sitting up there like literally like Mr. Burns with his fingers up in the air and not moving. And he just like kind of like slowly wording like gibberish to himself. And I'm just sitting there like, 5 minutes pass by, 10 minutes pass by, 15 minutes pass by, 20 minutes pass by. And he just stands up and he's like, all right, let's go. Like, what you mean, let's go? Like, I'm like, okay, this is
about to leave.
I'm like, I know that's your boy Grimm, but he about to give you a throwaway verse. Like, I already know what this is. Like, he trying to, okay, he tight, but y'all didn't blew him up too big. He goes up to that mic and delivers the most amazing verse I had ever heard of one of my beats at that point in time. And he did it in like 2 or 3 takes. And between every take, he said, Ab-Soul, I'm real at this rap shit. Ab-Soul, I'm real at this rap shit. All right, go ahead, do it again.
Damn.
I'm just like looking at him like, I'm just like in awe of this whole process. And if you ever listen to an Ab-Soul song, you know that he doesn't he's a very complex rapper when it comes to, I mean, even aside from the content, just the where he puts his bars at. He's very strategic about, it's almost like listening to like a John Coltrane play this, play the saxophone.
Okay.
Right. Or Louis Armstrong playing the trumpet solo. Like, it's almost like listening to that and how they go off on these rants. Miles Davis playing. It's almost like these different rants they go. He's doing that lyrically, and he'll have a beat that's like very basic, and he'll just whine in and out of it. stop for a few seconds, and then bring in a barrage of like 5 more bars, and it all sounds cohesive. And he was doing this all in his head.
That's wild. Like, cause I always heard this Jay-Z,
Right.
and I think Wayne did it too. But I don't
Wayne
know.
was punching in every 3 bars.
Yeah.
Like, not to discredit it, but like Jay-Z was delivering full verses, and that's what made it so remarkable. Wayne is remarkable for what he does, because obviously nobody did it like he did, and to do it for that many features like he did is amazing. But he did the full verse. He had that whole thing. He had it to where the stuff that, you know, if you ever write a verse, you know, there's many process you go through. Like, you write it first, you listen to it, you're like, I kind of rushed some words here, I'm going to change this. He has to do all that erasing and editing inside of his head. Not one time did he write it, he didn't have no phone out. Like, you know, anybody who knows anything about him, like, he has, like, you know, kind of bad vision.
Yeah, his glasses and stuff.
Man sat there and composed that verse in his head, composed a verse better than anything I ever wrote on paper. And I sat there and I was just like, I want to quit rapping. Like, this is bull. But no, he did that, and that was my introduction to him. And from there on, like, I was like, anytime I can get this dude to, you know, anytime he had a day off from work, because he used to work at the Magic Disc Store a few minutes from my house, which is like a record store. And it was like a traditional mom and pop record store that is his people's owned. Anytime he had a day off, I was hitting him up to see if he can roll by. So we cut a bunch of different songs that, you know, if you were back in the MySpace days, you heard like his beat, this song I did a beat for called Brainstorm, where he's just like literally using that metaphor and bouncing off of a brainstorm. Another song me and him did together called Icy Hot, where, you know, I made this corny concept where I was gonna like spit lyrics that embodied what it meant to be like a hot MC, and he would spit lyrics about how a cold, like basically going back and forth, and then we switched off at the second verse. You know, at the time it sounded like a really great idea, but it was kind of corny, but he was down with it. But he did so much work with me, we became really cool.
That's dope.
To the point where, like I said earlier, he came over to my house when he said, yo, you know, I just signed a TDE, give me a CD full of your beats. And I let it float around the studio. And I'm like, yo, for real? And he's like, yeah, I let it float around the studio. And I gave him that CD the next day. He took it over there. And, you know, from there, it was like, then I finally got an invitation into the studio for the second project for Long Term 2.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, that was a project where, because, once again, remember that analogy I said about moving the car? Because I was the dude that never stopped moving. Like, yes, I made beats. Yes, I rapped. But guess what? I worked at Quiznos and I fucking hated it. Right? And I was there and I was like, how can I quit this job? And I was like, okay, what can I do that other people think is pretty dope? Well, my MySpace layouts are pretty dope. Okay. So I started selling MySpace layouts.
Damn.
Funny story, my first customer was from Arizona.
Word?
My first customer from, I wish I could remember his name, but it was on my MySpace. He was my first $50 customer. And it was the first money I made outside of I wasn't making no money with no music. I wasn't selling beats and nothing like that. My first money I made outside of Quiznos. And I was like, yo, I got to do this. What I'm living today, like every day, like I'm literally living off of, you know, selling my music. I wanted that. And that was my first taste of it. It was a dude from Arizona. He was a rapper. And he was just like, yo, man, I need this MySpace theme, and I want it to be like super desert theme. And I was like, of course, you lazy, why not?
Man,
right?
that shit's funny.
And I'm putting it together for him, and like I'm putting like, I got like these little, what you call them things, you see in the Westerns, a little.
Oh, I know you're talking about the
straw balls. What are them things called? Whatever them things are, like you
the
see
haystack,
the haystacks,
that
right?
bounces,
little bouncing haystacks. So I put like a bunch of haystacks on the layout. Like it looked pretty dope for that time. It's corny now, but it's like really dope for that time. And he was like, "Yo, this is crazy, man. Oh man, you got my MySpace looking crazy." And I was like, "Yeah, I got you, bro. Don't even trip." And he paid me $50, and because of that, because I kept moving, Ab-Soul was like, in one studio session he invited me in. I was supposed to just be playing beats. And he was like, yeah, man, here's some songs off the Long Term 2 project. So I'm listening to songs. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. He showed me the one he did over my beat. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. This is like the best song anybody's ever did over my beat. And then it gets quiet for a second. He says, yo, you do graphic arts, don't you? And I was like, yeah. Like, you know, I was like, I don't know how you knew I was the graphic artist.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, I'm on a little bit of a crunch. And then the dude that I makes my album covers is slagging it. You think you can try to whip something up for Long Term 2?
Okay.
And I was like, in my head, I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. But I was like, hell yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
And so the dude that is like Kendrick's manager now, DJ Dave, I had to talk to him and basically put together this album cover. And he had ideas. and I constructed like 5 different album covers for it, and then the one that got picked was the one that they used for the album. So Long Term 2, if you look at it now, that's my design.
That was my remember when that dropped, because I think that's when Twitter just started to get hot, and I had put that as one of my pictures. I was rocking with them for a minute.
That's crazy.
Like,
so
for
you
a
literally
while.
was rocking with my
Yeah, so it's been like I've been knowing
yeah.
like how you guys been moving, so which is dope. I didn't know you did the cover.
Cover art, and I had the title track on that project.
That shit.
So it's like, but that wouldn't have happened. People, and it's funny because other producers, you know, that were in the area at the time were looking at me like, man, why you get so lucky? It's like, I wasn't lucky. It's almost like somebody that had their car break down and they sat in the car waiting for AAA and they were like, nobody helped me out.
Yeah.
But I'm the one that pushed my car and like, man, why people helping you out? What make you special?
Yeah.
I got sort of that energy. And in retrospect, I know it's because I kept moving. And because he asked me and because I said yes, because I didn't get prideful and be like, I ain't making no album cover for no other rapper. Like, I'm a rapper. Why should I? To me, that was just always childish and petty. So I did it. I said, if I knock this out the park, I got the album cover and the title track.
Okay.
Why wouldn't I take a chance on that?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So now I look back and see how important that decision was, because every project that comes up, you know, I get a phone call. What you got? You know, send something through. So then it became A Rebellion for Control System. Then it became Tree of Life for These Days. But these opportunities don't happen if I don't say yes. You know, if I don't take a chance, if I don't learn how to Photoshop off of YouTube, if I don't, you know, continue to grow, these opportunities don't happen.
Exactly.
So in essence, we didn't grow up together like little kids, but I mean, we grew up together in this industry, you know. So
that's dope. So what's some of the key projects that you've done, like personally, like for you? What's some of the albums or mixtapes, stuff that people like? I want people to check out from you. As
an artist, the Sneak and Night mixtape is the thing that kind of, I think, set it all off, because a lot of people know me from that.
Okay.
From doing this project where I sampled like I believe it was like 12 old school Nickelodeon songs. And
class, that's gonna restore the feeling. That's gonna restore the feeling right there.
Man, and the things I talk about in the songs is not like I'm not like over Gullah Gullah talking about like trapping. Like it's like
oh, I remember that show with the what's like a frog
with the Pollywog.
Yeah.
I
remember that show. That show was so classic.
So I like sampled that. I sampled a bunch of different things, and it was like just think the different shows from that, and I sampled it, and people just took a liking to it, because what I was talking about was like my childhood, my particular story. It wasn't like me trying to be anybody else. Snake and Night was in 2009. That was probably the most important in the beginning. Jetpack on E was probably when people started taking me more serious as a lyricist.
Okay.
DIY was what me bringing my creativity plus, you know, my lyricism together. And a lot of songs I perform today, like Sinbad and That's How My Day's Going, Pumas, Cubs, and Cougars, is all off of that EP. DIY EP, and then Aticophobia is another one that just kind of just lifted the roof off for me, because I had Ratchet Still Jockin'. That's where I had like Hit Boy and Glasses Malone on a remix. A lot of songs people favorites, but I mean all of those are important. All of those are important for their own reason. You know, obviously,
I was gonna say, what was the most recent one? Then
Raging Waters. That was a bit of an experiment, you know, of stepping out as a creative. I had this management that I was working with at the time, and you know, I was really following a lot of directions from that management at that point in time, and really taking a chance on, you know, seeing what it would be like if Curtis King had the opportunity to sort of transition to a more mainstream audience.
Okay.
You know, a more female-based audience. It was an experiment. Didn't necessarily go according to plan, but it's important, because that's the reason why I'm making the music I'm making today.
Okay.
Was because of this project and taking that chance on it. And like I said, I'm still that kid that wasn't afraid to take a chance on a PlayStation game, take a chance on Absol's Long Term 2 project album cover. I'm not afraid to take a chance now at 31, you know, and that's what Raging Waters was. So a lot of people feel like, oh man, it got slept on. I'm like, no, people who needed to get to it got to it. And music is something to where no matter what you do, people will always go backwards.
Definitely.
So
that's dope. I had the question, but I totally forgot right now. Damn. Oh, what's some of the books? Some of your favorite books? Let me get your top 5 favorite books.
Top 5.
Maybe let's do top 3. Let's do top 3.
Okay. I could have given you top 5.
Could you?
Yeah.
Give me top 5 then. Top 5.
The Go Giver, number 1. The Go-Giver by John David Mann and Bob Berg.
Okay.
The most important book. Sorry about that. The most important book that I have read in life. Period. And it's a 3-hour audiobook. If you go get it, only 3 hours, but it's the most important book. It's a fictional story, but it's the most important. Let's see. What else are we talking about? Matter of fact, I had a list. The Compound Effect.
Okay.
By Darren Hardy. The Four Agreements by Don Miguel. Is that 3 or is that 4?
That's 3.
That's 3. The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. And what's another one? It won't matter because next week this list is going to change.
I was going to say, because I know you be reading, because the knowledge has just been dropping. This has been crazy.
It's going to change because it's going to be something else that I'm completely into. Oh, the 10X Rule by Grant Cardone, the unabridged version, the audiobook. Talk about a book that if you just need like motivation some days and you want somebody that's just going to slap you around, you need to get that book. He has a chapter in that book where it's called "Don't Be a Little Bitch." Like sometimes I need somebody to tell me that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I need the right person to tell me that. It can't just anybody tell me that, but I need sometimes to have somebody like a Grant Cardone. He's just like this Southern dude who's just, in your face about things and like he don't sugarcoat nothing. But I love it. I needed that book. But those are the ones right now that I think that if you get those in your life will be changed. If you read those and really put those into action, there's no way possible, unless you're just some closed-minded dude that just consumes stuff. This is the part where you don't go robot mode. Like read that and put it into action.
Apply.
If you apply that, it will change your life. I kid you not, it will change your life.
That's dope. I'm gonna check those out most definitely. We're gonna have to rewind that part when it's time.
That's the beauty of the podcast.
Before we get into the main section of like the YouTube and all that stuff, how important is it to like gather resources? Like I remember you said earlier you did the Photoshop and
right.
Like I forgot the video. The name of the video was like offer resources that you have to other artists. I think like you could reach out, do the Photoshop,
right,
like stuff. I can't remember. It was a lot of stuff you had said in the video, but how important is that?
Well, you got to do more than rap. If you're a rapper, you got to do more than rap. If you're a producer, you got to do more than produce. You think about what is your goals in life? What do you want to get accomplished? And if you say things like, man, I want to live and not have to worry about money. Okay, well, that's going to require a lot of sacrifice.
Yes.
That's going to require, anything that is that, because that's a heft. Like, you think about the world lives off of $2.50. That's the real poverty. Like, the world, like the lowest in this world lives off, like that 99% lives off of $2.50, off of $900 a year. That's the real poverty, right? So when people in America talk about, oh, we're 99% bull. No.
Yeah.
The world in general, like live off of $2.50. You have to establish what kind of life you want to live. You say you want to have a life where money is not a problem. You want to have a big mansion. You want to have cars. You want to have all of this. Well, guess what? A lot's going to have to go into that. A lot of sacrifice going into that. That being said, you're going to have to help a lot of people in order to get to that.
Yeah.
Because being a millionaire, being a billionaire is not just you being rich. It's you having a responsibility. You are responsible for the reviews, the opinions, the servicing of whatever $1 million in revenue is.
Yeah.
Whatever that equals in people, that's what you're responsible for. Mm-hmm. That's what your problem solve. If I read in that book, The Slight Edge, he says your income is determined by the size of the problems that you fix. Okay. If the problems you solve are, well, I make sure that the cans are separated from the bread whenever I'm bagging up groceries. You get paid whatever that is worth to people, right? And that's what that is. So if you solve bigger problems, then you will have income by default. So if you are solving the problem of people having bad album covers, which is a lot of bad album covers in the independent rap
I was gonna ask you how important is album covers.
Oh my gosh, that was probably the video that you were talking about.
Yeah, I think it might have been that.
The importance of album covers is that it's so important because every rapper needs an album cover at some point in time. Every rapper needs a graphic designer if they're not a graphic designer or if they don't have a homie. They all need quality design work, right? And they all are willing to pay for it if you get their vision together.
Yes.
That's the reason why I stopped doing it, because I couldn't first of all handle the indecisiveness of a lot of artists.
That's the hard part for me, right?
But that's somebody else. Thing is, I would rather somebody else take that business from me because they're ready for that. They get excited by it, like, oh, you didn't like this? Okay, cool. Well, I'll do it like this then. They get excited by every change. I used to get like, man, this is taken away from what I really want to do.
Yeah.
This is not what I really want to do. Like, I still want to help people, but I want to help people in a way that I'm passionate about, and I didn't bring passion. So if you solve a problem where most people like us, we're not going to be, cleaning toilets with a sponge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like there's somebody that's out there willing to do that.
Exactly.
And if they own a company that is willing to, employ people who are willing to clean toilets, guess what? That person is probably a $100,000 from owning the company.
Yep.
Or making $60,000, $70,000 a year because they service to so many people and help so many people. That same mindset has to be instituted in what you do, is that if you want to have that enormous success, guess what you got to do? You got to help that enormous amount of people. And what you'll find is you'll get further past your goal, and two, you'll be fulfilled by something more than just the monetary wins, the houses, the cars, the women, whatever it is that you desire. You'll get past that because the feeling of helping other people, the feeling of being fulfilled, like, yo, I've changed a lot of people's lives.
Yep.
And that's what I feel like with these videos, is that, when I look up to one of these videos where I ask people to leave their testimony, their testimonial of how these videos have helped them, that fulfills me. That makes me feel like, yo, no matter what I do from here on out as an artist, no matter where I go, quote unquote, I don't care about the making anything. I'm really concerned about making sure that I'm helping people and helping enough people to live the dreams that I want to live. If I'm doing that, then I'm winning out here.
Yeah.
Like, you can't tell me I'm not winning out here because I don't have 100,000 followers on Twitter. Like, I appreciate the 14K I got. I talk to any of them like I've known them for years, because I don't play the Hollywood stuff. Like, even on Instagram, like, I appreciate whatever that number is on there. The 6,000 now subscribers on YouTube, I appreciate every single one of them, and they literally give me life. Every time I wake up and I see, yo, this video like changed my perspective. I'm no longer going to spam people on Facebook. I'm yada yada yada.
Yeah.
Like, finally somebody does something about it. We all can complain about it. I've complained a million times about it. I'm guilty of the same thing, but it's like, I decided to change something, and because I decided to try to change, there's a reward for that. And that reward is going to be what I value. I value income. I value being able to take care of my bills. I value being able to take care of my family, take care of, not stress about money like I stressed for the first 28 years of my life. Not to the last 3 years was I able to say, you know what, my relationship's going to change with money, with poverty, with all of that.
Yeah.
I want to live in abundance. I don't want to live in an apartment no more. I don't want to do these things. I want to be able to live in abundance, and I want my music to pay off for that. And it finally did, with the leasing of the beats. And it wasn't even for my placements, which is crazy. Some people may think like, oh, because he met Ab-Soul, that's why everything is going on. No, like, I tell you right now,
Quality.
it's quality. Even me meeting Cedric. I mean, like this comes from me putting in the work online, And yes, is there a reference? Does the Ab-Souls and the Kendrick give me a cosign? Hell yeah, that changes everything. If somebody comes to your page and they're like listening to a beat and they're like, oh, this is pretty dope. Oh, he's charging this for it. Who he work with? And you see that, then it's like, oh, okay, I'll shut up. That offers value.
Yeah.
But it came down to me making a decision. And to be honest with you, I made more money in the last 3 years leasing my beats to artists that I have never met, I've never seen, and being quality to them, value to them, talking to them like human beings. I've made more than the last 10 years of placements with
That's
major
wild.
artists.
Yeah.
I work with Vans, I work with MTV, I work with VH1, all of these. Combine all that money, it doesn't even blow, a candle out.
Yeah.
Compared to what the leasing business has done, because guess what? Now I'm solving a bigger problem for people. I'm solving a problem of quality production for an affordable rate. CurtisKingBeats.com.
Why haven't you bought this beat yet?
Why haven't you bought this beat yet? You know what I mean? And now I gave that tag away. Now there's so many producers who know me from that tag who are like, man, who do you think he is making this tag? Oh, I can use this and it's gonna save me from. Okay, you know what? I mess with Curtis.
Yeah.
Because, don't get me wrong. Like, even being as positive I am, I still get trolls. I still get people who want to, like, take me off of my path and just say negative things. And, I remember I had this contest where I charged, a $10 entry fee. And somebody was like, who do you think you are? Another producer was like, his beats ain't even that slapping. Like, my homie make better beats than his. And I'm just like, looking, I'm like, why is that even a conversation?
Yeah.
And I look at that kind of stuff and I'm like, I'm going to make a fan out of him. He's gonna come up one day and come across his tag, use it and say, yo, this is genius because it helps me save my beats. Come to find out, it's the dude who didn't have beats as good as his homies.
That's wild.
And now I'm at some point in time, that was something I made a commitment to early in those years. I said, I don't care what happens, you're going to have to go through me at some point in time. I want to make sure that I know as many things as possible, from video editing on Windows Movie Maker to making album covers on
Photoshop.
even before Photoshop. I was making it on Microsoft Paint.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Bruh, it was terrible then, but I was trying. It was
Yeah.
terrible during those days. But on Microsoft Paint, I was making these album covers, and I did all of this stuff, whatever it took to get it done, whatever it took, so that I said, if you rap or you produce, you're gonna have to come through me at some point in time for something. Because I'm gonna make sure that my stuff is so quality and so valuable that your homies can't stop talking about it. That's something the 10X rule is about, is that when you start to put in so much work and so much action, you won't need the cosigns, you won't need nobody else, you won't need somebody to come save you. No, hell no. What happens is you'll put in so much work that you become omnipresent. And when you become omnipresent, you're literally everywhere all the time.
Yep.
You could be like, there'll be times I'll be sitting up here in the room right now, and there's 20, 25 conversations going on just in the IE right now about me right now. And it's not even from some kind of like egomaniac or some kind of narcissistic thing. It's because I put in so much work, it's warranted it deserves to be talked about.
Yeah.
And it helps so many people. Why wouldn't you have that conversation about something that's helping?
Most definitely.
You know what I mean? As opposed to somebody who's just trying to be, that's why I said, leaders, man, like, folks who try to be like, kings of things. I ain't trying to claim no king or nothing.
Yeah.
Like, it's too much work to be done out here. There's no, the people who claim kings always get assassinated.
Yeah. We said that earlier.
Man, in some shape or form, like maybe not physically, maybe like, spiritually, maybe, their career gets assassinated. It just always happens because
They have a big downfall because they put themselves on that big pedestal, so it's gonna be like once you fall off, like you fall off, like.
And it's easy to snipe you out.
Yeah.
Because guess what? You're the only one standing up there. But guess what? When you at the top of a hill, you're the easiest to snipe out. But when you got 40,000 people around you, who are you gonna hit?
Exactly.
You can hit me, but guess what? These 40 people are looking around for where they came from. So, I would much rather be amongst people who know that I have their best interests in mind. So I get artists that a lot of people will be surprised at the artists that reach out to me, to where I really feel like keep bringing his name up, but I feel like I'm transitioning to being like the hip hop Tony Robbins.
Okay.
Because no matter what happened in my career, I've had setback after setback. I've had situations where I got done dirty. I've had situations where I've got punched up and down in this industry, like not physically, but I've got punched around in this industry and had my hopes and dreams stepped on and crushed and lost everything. It's happened many a times. But why is it that I keep getting up? Why is it that I have so much energy now? Why is it that I can be so optimistic
You're
about
still
it?
here.
And then look around and I could be optimistic. There's a homeless man right now who's optimistic.
Yep.
But you look at a situation, you're like, there's no proof of concept and why you're so optimistic. But you look at me 3 years ago, I was laying on the homie's couch. I was laying on the homie's couch, like looking around like, yeah, one day this is gonna change.
Yeah.
Fast forward now, it was probably 4 years ago, but fast forward now, like, I'm paying rent on a house and I'm paying my car note through music entirely. I don't work no 9 to 5, and like that wouldn't have happened had I not just got up and said, you know what? No matter how bad things go, you're not gonna take my optimism away. Like even like this industry, man, like this industry would take away your sense of humor, especially somebody like me, because I'm so like self-deprecating about my humor. I'm so like the guy not taking himself too serious.
Yeah.
Because I'm that guy, they look at that as like a jester, a clown. They look at that as somebody that you can't take serious, not realizing this is what I do for my survival and what I do for my happiness. And they try to take that away. This industry tried to take that away. And the moment that I grabbed back and I said, no, Roscoe the Taco has got to live another day. If you know any of my videos where I'm like the typical rapper making fun, making fun.
Yeah, you always say that shit.
I gotta be Roscoe the Taco. I gotta have my times where I have fun and I'm making people laugh, because if I'm not laughing, then there's a great chance that I could be thinking too seriously on something. You know what I mean? So that's something I learned, is that this industry can take away the best assets of you, your best qualities, and then when you don't have your best qualities anymore, you start to act really nasty towards people.
Uh-huh.
You start to be really, angry towards people, and that's when you start meeting your favorite celebrities, and you be like, man, this dude is an asshole. Guess
We
what?
were talking about this literally on the way over here.
Man. Hey, bro, I'm telling you, me and Sid had conversations about this. Like, look, when you meet these folks and they're so jaded, it's not just them being assholes. It's sometimes their environment stole the best qualities of them. That's why people don't fall off. Nobody falls off. They just stop being who people like.
Yeah.
Like artists start making music that's not them because guess what? They're not themselves anymore. Because when you're yourself, you're making decisions about, well, what do I like? Oh, I like 808s, and I happen to like Snick and Night samples. Okay, let's throw that together and put it into a project. I don't know if it makes sense. Who cares?
Yeah.
Let's put it together. But the moment you start thinking about, okay, but what about the marketing strategy? What about this? What about this? Where you're taking away the best quality of why people like what you do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, of course you have to grow. Of course you have to, find ways to evolve. But you can't take away the ingredients. Like, it's like, whatever your favorite soda is. The moment that they take that corn syrup out,
It ain't gonna say safe.
look, it's bad for you. Yes, I understand it's bad, but the moment like I even feel a certain way when they take the GMOs out of my pancakes. I'm like, well maybe I like them in there. I'm playing. That's a joke. I'm glad they did that. But I'm like, you can't make a cake without the eggs.
Yeah.
There's certain things you just can't leave out. So in life is no different. And I think that, you as an individual, you as a man, you as a woman, whoever's listening, like you have to always always keep the best assets of yourself and improve those. Only strengthen your strengths and only strengthen the weaknesses that hinder your strengths. Don't go worried about things that you're not supposed to be on this earth for. Everybody's not meant to be on this earth to be on the radio and be, that kind of an artist. Some people are lyricists by nature. They do it well. It comes easy to them, and it's more difficult for others. Just do that. 10 times that. Go crazy on that. Get even better at it. Become so crazy at it that people cannot look away, and you'll find your success. And then just start servicing the people however way you can. But you go up there trying to work on your, trying to be the best, hook guy, and it's like that's not your strength.
Yeah.
You water down what you're great at so that you can be mediocre in some other field or average in another field. So that's an important lesson that I learned even within the last few years, that you got to understand what your strengths are, and that comes with understanding who you are and putting your feet solid on the ground and saying, I'm gonna run this to the end.
Yeah, that's very important right there. That like this shit is crazy. That all the stuff that you're dropping, like it's what I appreciated. Like was when I got introduced to the videos from SETI.
Right.
It's like you gave like all this knowledge out and stuff like that. Because there's like no artist. Like I have never seen any artists like that's doing it, and
Right.
and you have like a good resume behind you. That's just that could back it up to like prove. But it's not about that. But you're giving out like the game, what artists should do.
Right.
And all that. So what made you want to like create the artist marketing and producer and all that stuff, videos?
Right. Well, there wasn't a specific plan for it to look like this. It goes back to that book that I said everybody should read, The Go-Giver. And the basis behind that book is that, literally, whatever you have a goal in life, you have to give your way to it. And that's the only way to attain that goal. Anybody that you think of. Now, at the beginning of the year, I say the end of the year, end of 2015, I hit a depression. I hit like a really hard depression where I was really thinking about like, it was after Raging Waters that came out. I wasn't feeling fulfilled. I wasn't feeling happy about where I was at. I was just like, man, I've achieved all of this. I just had Hip Hop DX say my Raging Waters was the top 25 albums of 2015.
Okay.
Huge hip hop publication. I should be the most happiest I ever am. And I remember being at downtown Disney because I checked out Merge's show, and I was just walking down there by myself, and I was just like, yo, I'm not happy. None of this makes me happy.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, if I ever attain like great success in this world, I still wouldn't be happy.
Uh-huh.
Like in this particular realm, I wouldn't be happy because I'm not being who I am. And I feel like a part of me is dead. Like a part of me, like the funny part of me, whatever, is just dead. And I was lost. So I was driving home. I got on the phone with my fiance and I called her and I tried to have her talk me through it. Like, I don't know what's going on right now, but I feel more lost than I ever felt in my life. I read that book the same week because my homie Art Bars, God bless him, gave me He gave me a suggestion to read that book and to listen to a podcast called Entrepreneur on Fire, EO Fire, where they talk to entrepreneurs every single day. He has a podcast that drops every day. You know how difficult
Damn,
this thing is.
that's just hard because I just do every 2 weeks, and this is hard.
Every day a new episode drops, 42 minutes to an hour. He does, I think, 15 in a day, and then just releases them throughout the month. 2 days out the week. The guy lives in Puerto Rico. John Lee Dumas lives in Puerto Rico, lives the life he wants to live, but he interviews every single day. Another episode drops. So every day I was consuming like this energy that I was not getting for a long time. This entrepreneur energy. And what I found was every time he interviewed somebody on there, he did something I never saw them do in hip hop. Every entrepreneur got on there. I was expecting them to be like how our favorite rappers are. When they get on the Breakfast Club or they get on these interviews, they don't give you the whole story. Like, what's your advice to young artists? Like just get out there, really grind. You know what I'm saying? Be thankful, and just keep going. Like it's good advice to a certain degree, but it's not practical advice that I can take that and say, okay, I'm gonna change this aspect of my business.
Yeah,
that doesn't exist. In hip hop, it didn't exist. And so when I saw these multi-millionaires, and a lot of rappers we know ain't no damn multi-millionaires.
No.
But how do you deserve to have the cockiness and the narcissist nature to not share these things?
Yeah.
Why do you feel like you're more valuable than me that you can't even share that? And these multi-millionaires that some of us, we have never heard of them because they're just multi-millionaires who, one lady owned a gourmet salt company, right? She made her own sauce from her kitchen, ended up becoming a multi-million-dollar company. We don't hear about these people. And every single one of them, I kid you not, it must have been like 25 in a row that I listened to the episodes. He said, because one of the questions he asked the same questions every single episode. One of the questions he asked, what are your streams of revenue? And every one of them said, yada, 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 and teaching.
Okay. Teaching. Oh, teaching is...
Right? So I'm looking up like, so these multimillionaires who got these crazy homes, crazy, how all these crazy things in life, the things that we look at like, oh, we got to hustle to get there, yada, yada, yada. They all are giving value in some shape or form.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean I had to go quit music and be a teacher. That meant that I had to do something that not any of my peers were willing to do.
Yeah,
my
exactly.
OGs weren't willing to do it enough. Like I had a couple OGs who were willing to do it. The young ones don't want to teach the OGs how to, work a SoundCloud because they bitter with each other. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then meanwhile, I'm right here dead smack in the middle, 31 years old, looking like both of y'all are tripping.
Yeah.
Y'all need to figure this out because I'm at a point where I can understand why the old ones are bitter because they're looking like y'all ain't, how dare y'all don't, give me what I gave y'all. I gave y'all an opportunity. The young ones are like, what you give me?
Yeah.
You looked out for yourself. And so I made this video called The Biggest Lie in Hip Hop, and it was literally like my mission statement for the next 8 months. Like I didn't even know what this was going to be. I made this video called The Biggest Lie in Hip Hop. I released it on Facebook. And I basically talked about the same thing I just talked about right now, the difference between the young and the old. I talked about, the idea of value. I talked about giving out this information. I talked about how in hip hop, we're scared to give out free information because we feel like somebody's going to steal it from us and then put us out of business. And then I gave the example of Martha Stewart. Martha Stewart gives you out recipes every single day of her life. You get a new recipe on how to cook chicken. She knows that Curtis King is not going to take her recipe, make chicken, and then start a chicken shack next door to her business.
Right next door.
And put her out of business.
Yeah.
She ain't worried about me. I'm small fries because she gives value to so many people that they'll be like, even if I cook chicken better than her, it won't matter.
Yeah.
Because she got freaking dog sweaters. Martha Stewart towels.
She got a magazine too, don't she?
Come on, dog. Like, she got a magazine. She do interior design. She ain't worried about this chicken recipe she gave away. Like, not saying it's not valuable, but she gives out so much value that she doesn't obsess over it. And the thing about with hip hop is that we obsess over to where we like, okay, we got to monetize that. We got to make money off of that.
Yep.
Or people are going to take that and make money off of it for us. Okay. Like, if you believe in that law, which I completely put my heart behind, if you believe in that law that if you give, and it's real value and it's from the right place in your heart, that these things will be reciprocated. If you're open to it, that it'll come back to you. If you believe that, all of this stuff is going to come to fruition. And I'm telling you, the last 8 months of my life is the proof of that.
Yeah.
And
most definitely.
And don't think I didn't get, I got so much love, but I got a lot of hate because people are like, man, you can't get this information out for free. What are you doing? Da, da, da. But it's like, it's not about that. It's not about giving out information for free. I'm not giving out anything that's not out there already. All I'm doing is taking all this information I learned from the tech world, all this information that I've been able to combine with my own experience and saying, look, let me talk to you in a way that nobody else is willing to talk to you. I'm gonna talk to you genuinely. I'm gonna give you my side of it. I'm gonna give you information. I'm gonna do my own research to make sure I know what I'm talking about. But then too, like, I'm gonna give you something that I feel like is like me like right now, if I ask you the first person that taught you how to tie your shoes or ride your bike, would you be able to name that person?
Part of my parents, but I don't know which one specifically.
Even then, you can name them first name, last name, right?
Yeah.
Or the first person to ever tell you about the podcast game.
Yeah.
You remember, you know that person. First name, last name. Now, the person that taught you how to write your first 16, if that happened to be me on YouTube, you would never forget me.
Yeah.
So
I see what you mean.
When I'm
It's
45
ingrained.
and I'm 50 and I'm looking back on my career and I'm thinking about, man, you know, maybe I wasn't on all the BETs and the MTVs, if that's the case or whatever. What if I'm looking back and then a kid is like, but you taught me my first 16.
Yep.
And like, whatever you need, bro, whatever. That means that I'm forever going to be taken care of. My family will forever be taken care of because I'm giving so much value. And right now I'm on a goal to do this content for at least a year. And from there, it may transition to something else. But for at least a year to the next January 2017, I'm going to be giving these videos out, 2 videos every week. I've been doing it. I haven't missed 1 week this year. I'm going to put these videos out. I'm watching my YouTube grow. I'm watching my audience grow. And I'm watching, you know, even the audience now for my music. I haven't pushed my music to these folks. I haven't been like trying to say I need your money. I ain't asking for nothing.
That's what I noticed. This is always has been. You actually just been teaching. This is all
Teaching.
All teaching.
And then here's a difference. I give them the opportunity to buy from me.
Yeah.
You know, like I have my FL Studio course. So as I'm talking about, you know, artists learning how to make your own beats, here I go and I say, if you want to learn, here's the opportunity. That's the difference. When you're giving value, you don't have to sell to anybody.
It sells itself.
It sells itself because it's like, hey, man, you gave me some crazy information, man. Like, can you ever do a video about how to build a website? Guess what? I have this product that's Artist Marketing 911 presented, how to build your own website. Boom. And it's $39. $39. You gonna teach me how to make my own?
Yeah.
Yes. I will teach you how to make a website like the one that I have. And it's 2 hours. Wow. Okay. Yeah, for sure. It makes people want to throw interest on there.
Yeah.
You know, but the thing about it is if I came in here and I did these videos and I tried to sell a product immediately after, it wouldn't have worked the way it's worked because I have to be genuine. I am genuine and it has to come off as real. Now people are willing to pay for whatever, you know, products I put out because they know that I stand behind quality.
Yep.
Whether it's my drum kits, whether it's my beats, whether it's, you know, whatever I release, they know my products are going to be quality because of the track record that I have. But the only way I can do that is continue to push this free content, put it out there, let as many people get to it as possible. When that joint gets to 10,000 subscribers, we start recording over into the YouTube studios.
Okay.
Transitions is going to happen. Things are going to happen, but they have to happen at the speed that, you know, that God wants it to happen.
Supposed to happen.
It's
Yeah.
supposed to happen, you know. It ain't going to happen because I forced the issue. It ain't going to happen because somebody like, you should be charging for all this information. No, that's the first problem. That's why nobody would buy it. Because they're so used to people like that who are opportunists who were like, yo, I teach you some more. You know, I teach you the secrets if you buy this for $10. Ain't no secrets, man. Stop with the secret stuff. Ain't no
Yeah.
secrets. It's stuff that, you know, is lesser known knowledge.
Yeah.
Ain't no secrets though when it comes to this. It's like it's literally you read all of these marketing books, all the books I suggested to you. At the basic principles, they say the same thing. You know, treat people how you want to be treated. give value. Give, you know, at all costs. Stay consistent. Show up with a good attitude. And find what makes you happy before you find what makes you content. All the basic principles of all of these books. So there ain't no secrets. That's why people are so like they don't want to trust entrepreneurs and keynote speakers because they're like, this dude ain't about to. Why you paying $4,000 to go see this dude?
Yeah.
He ain't gonna give you no game. He wants your money. If it was about the money, he'd have been gone a long time ago.
Yeah.
But he's giving you what you really want. And most people in his life, you know, especially artists, producers, what they really want is encouragement. They want some kind of justification. They want some kind of confidence that the route they're going on is not too far off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm willing to be that person that shares this information. You know what I mean? I have no 48 law malicious intent.
Yeah, I feel
attached
that.
to it.
Yeah.
It's just like in order for this to work, it would have to be real.
Yeah.
There's a million, bro. There's like I saw a stat, something crazy. Like I don't know how many videos are uploaded every hour. Why do people decide to come to mine?
Yeah.
What makes mine so special? I'm no different from nobody else, but what I am willing to do is be real with them, give them this information, and answer the questions that they most want to know.
Yeah. That's real good because, like, I don't know. I feel like everything that an artist really needs is on your page. Like,
Right.
the fundamentals of like getting started, getting your shit on from iTunes to artwork to the websites,
No excuse not to.
FL, like all that stuff is on there, and
Mm-hmm.
that's what like caught my attention. I'm like, damn, like this is stuff like anybody almost could apply to what they're doing,
Right,
but like
right.
artists, like they, because there's like a group of artists that be like, damn, I don't know how to get on iTunes, I don't know where to go for artwork. I don't know, like, you know,
It's right there.
You just apply yourself, basically. You know, you just apply these rules or laws, whatever you want to do. Just go look them up, like, and
Mm-hmm.
you can find them.
And take what you want to take from it. You don't have to listen to 100% to me. Like, I wouldn't listen to 100% from one guy. Like, I want to do my research from anybody who's
Yep.
talking, because we're all just human beings. But do your research. If it feels good and you've made it make sense in your head, go with that.
Yeah.
There's something to that. So
Before we get up out of here, I got a couple more questions. But what are like 5 key things that artists should do that are coming, or that 5 key things that you feel artists should have? I don't know how to word this. That should just be ready for or have to. I can't say. I don't know how to explain it. Present, like, yeah, like what should they do for an art? Like, what are 5 key things artists should be prepared for?
in terms of be prepared for in this career.
In this career, or just getting started or whatever.
I think that before you do anything, I say the number one thing is know who you are. Know yourself. Know exactly who you are, because that's going to be basically the tree that produces all these branches, right? If you don't know who you are, you're going to get in this industry and they're going to tell you who you are, and they're going to make you a cheaper version of that, and then you're going to wake up one day and hate your life, and hate who you are, hate who you signed to, hate who you work with, all of that. Know who you are, first of all. 2, establish your why. And make sure that why is something that has some meat to it. Make sure that it's like, the difference between McDonald's and soul food. You know what it feels like to have a home-cooked meal,
Yeah.
right? And you know what it feels like to get something quick just to consume. Make sure you know who you are. Make sure that you have a why that has weight to it. Don't be afraid to fail. Failing is something you have to do.
Most
Failing is a
definitely.
prerequisite.
That's the biggest lesson, I feel
Yeah,
like.
don't avoid failure. Avoiding failure is literally going to knock you off your path more. One of my marketing teachers said that, the way that a plane gets from New York from LA to New York, they don't fly in a straight line. People think they fly in a straight line, right? They fly according to that line, but they fall off course. Sometimes they fall off, hella left. But they need to fall off in order to know how far they are away from that line. So in essence, they have to fall off course. They have to fail just so they can know how far off they are.
Okay.
So in life, you got to do that. You cannot be afraid of failure. Fourth, I would say your work ethic and your consistency is going to set you apart from everybody and everything. You have to be willing to just get up and go, even when there's not answers, even when you don't have answers, even when you look crazy. You're going to have to be able to just get up and go. And the more you do that, the more you're that person, the more people are going to be throwing opportunities in your lap, because if you want to get something done, they always say put it in the hands of the busiest person you know. Why? Because they get stuff done.
Yeah.
I hate that quote because it's so real, and people end up making me the busiest person. But that's something else too, is that you have to show up, you have to be consistent. And 5th is probably attitude determines latitude.
Okay.
You have to have a good attitude about things, and all of that comes back to being happy with who you are, and all that they all link together. But you have to be happy with who you are, and you just got to have the right attitude. You got to be willing to show up at places that you don't want to show up to, but you have a goal. Even if your job, I hated Quiznos for 4 years, and there's days I walked in there and I just hated the smell of turkey ranch and Swiss, and freaking provolone cheese, whatever. I just hated the smell of everything, right?
Yeah.
I would come home, I would still smell like it even after 2 showers. It don't matter. Wash my clothes, and my clothes still smell like and I would hate it. But then I had to change it. I was like, you know what? And it's funny because there was a customer that came in one time and he said, man, I can tell by the way you smile and by the way that you handle like customers, this is not where you're going to end up being. I can tell you're going to do bigger things in his life. And I'm like, how can he see that? And the only way that I know that, the only way that I know that somebody can see something like that is because of my attitude.
Yeah.
And because of the way that I approach things. You know, I could be mad about, you know, somebody messing up an order or whatever the case. But that's just, no, I refuse. So I think your attitude is going to be the most important thing. Your attitude, like, my attitude is the reason why I set up in rooms where it's nothing but Grammy nominated people, and I'm the only one in there that got a few 100,000 YouTube plays and whatever. Like, I got a SoundCloud. I work with some people. That's cool, but everybody in here got placements. Everybody in here got Grammys. Why the hell am I in this room? Well, because my attitude.
Yep.
There's been times where I keep getting invited by Ab-Soul or Ab, and by no means am I the best producer he comes in contact with. He got Alchemist now. He got Soundwave. He got everybody that he could ever have access to. Why do you continue to come back to me?
Yeah.
One, because there's a chemistry, yes, and two, because the attitude, and he knows that I'm willing. Like, I'm gonna. If he says I need track outs by the end of the night, he gonna get track outs by mid-afternoon today.
Yeah.
The same day, I'm gonna get them even faster because I don't play. When it comes to opportunity, I don't play. So that's what comes back to the work and being consistent. But those are the 5 things that I think are most important right now to me.
Most definitely. Yeah, that's like, I feel like a lot of people don't have like the guidance that you provide, and that's why I feel like this was so right to just do this. But before we get up out of here, man, I want to ask you this. I ask this to everybody, but this is the main question: is it the money or is it the legacy when it's all said and done?
I mean, I try not to be on the edge of having to answer some kind of ultimate question.
Yeah.
But for the sake of it, I think that the legacy is important. But I think that, the money is a part of your legacy.
Okay.
I think the money is a part of, the proof of concept. I think it's more so for, the family that you produce afterwards. That's part of the legacy, is them looking at you and saying, you know what I mean? My grandfather was a great man for the things that he did. But you'll always have that grandkid that said, my grandfather was a good man, but he was broke.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be like him. So what kind of a legacy would it leave if I don't have the money?
Yeah. Okay.
So I feel like those are hand in hand. But at the end of the day, I mean, obviously, legacy is more, from a personal level, more important. But I think there's no way you can wrap legacy and not wrap the fruits of the labor.
I understand.
We always think about that. We always think about what was produced. We think about Martin Luther King Jr., who died for what he believed in. If we were still segregated, like the way it was, obviously there's still racism exists. We see that now, but but if it existed how it was when he was around and all the things that he did, the marching and everything he did, we would have a different perspective of him.
Yes.
But we look at him and say, man, like him, Rosa Parks, Malcolm X, all these folks planted the seed and made this opportunity available for us now to talk the way we talk. Like this, we wouldn't be able to talk on a podcast like this. You know what I mean? Like back in the 50s, they wouldn't, no way. They'd come get us before this thing was even over with or even uploaded, you wouldn't have uploaded back then. But that's what I'm saying is that we couldn't talk freely like this. But this is off of the heels of their legacy and what they did. But this would not have happened if there was no actual results from that legacy. So I think the money is a part of the legacy. But I mean, obviously the legacy trumps that. I think that the money is a byproduct of the legacy.
Okay.
But don't get it wrong. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah, no, I definitely feel
I'm not leaving this earth. I'm not sacrificing everything I sacrificed. All them times I could have been out with something sexy. Oh man, all them times that I was like, yeah, I got to chill, girl. Like I got to work on these beats. All them times that I said no to some good. You crazy? I'm gonna get my payoff.
Yeah, I feel it.
I'm gonna look up one day and be like, yo, okay. This is what this view is all about. This is why I can look over Miami right now and be like, this is just my vacation home. I can't wait to get back to home. Like, this is what. Please don't get it twisted. Yeah. I speak this positivity because I see the vision and I keep the vision in my mind. Even my phone right now has a house that $500,000 house that I say, in a few years, I want that. Yeah. I want that. You know what I mean? And I'm not afraid to throw that in my face every single day. So anytime I try to jump on social media and waste time, I look at my phone background. And I'm like, yeah, I can't be on here right now.
Nope.
So
I definitely feel that. I appreciate the interview, man. Let me come out and
appreciate you having me on.
Oh, bro, most definitely. This ain't gonna be the last one either. I'm gonna have to do some checkups because this was very good. I'm gonna post the videos because I have this new section on the site called For the People. So I'm gonna start adding the videos and stuff like that and your content to it. So because I feel like this is very important for people to understand. And before we get up, what's the social media and where can people find you?
At Curtis King on everything: Instagram, Twitter. My Curtis King Beats on Facebook. The Snapchat, Curtis King with 2 S's. And that's everything. It's Curtis King with 2 S's. The YouTube, Curtis King TV. If there's producers out there, are aspiring producers, and you want to learn how to make beats on FL Studio 11, go to flstudiobeginnersclass.com. Also go to curtiskingbeats.com if you want that. Why you didn't pay for this beat tag? If you want to learn how to build your own website, that's also on curtiskingbeats.com. If you want to, lease beats from me or purchase beats from me, go on curtiskingbeats.com. If you have an iPhone or Android, download the Curtis King Beats mobile app so that you have access to. I'm going to add a section for interviews. So I'm going to have, whenever you have this interview up, I'm going to add that over to the app. All the artist marketing and producer motivation videos are up there. My beats are up there. Products are up there. Anything that you can think of that has to do with the brand and trying to help you out and giving you super value. That's what I'm up there with. So, man, connect with me on any of those. I'll respond back. I try to, section my time off on there because there's a lot of people, but it's a blessing to have all of that feedback. But I read everything. But,
it's definitely, I can tell you do, because that's good, man. That's good because you like the feedback, right?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the feedback. I'll be lying if I didn't say the feedback doesn't fill me up. The feedback, and if it stopped coming, I got an archive of feedback that I look back on and be like I really made an impact on folks' life, So that being said, you can connect with me on any of that. And man, thank you for having me on.
No, I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Why haven't you bought this beat, man? Big Al Legal Trap. Shout out to Seti Mix that we out.
TheLegalTrap.com.